Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Equilinox. In the last episode, we brought some life to the very corner of the Mew Meadows when we set up this little woodland biome. And now inside we have plenty of deer pouncing around with our sheep. We have little guinea pigs skittering around the ground too. But we did have to move our bumblebees. And the guinea pigs, look at this! That is so dangerous! How on earth are you even doing that, Chrissy? Honestly. Well, they're having a much better time now that we've moved our bumblebees over here. It turned out that the bees were a little bit aggressive toward our guinea pigs, so they were not too happy living together. But I think they're going to enjoy it over here by our ducks much more. Or maybe it's the ducks who are going to enjoy their presence. It turns out the ducks love to eat honey, so I'm hoping that they won't have to worry about starving quite as much. They were having some trouble coming down here to pick up the seaweed, so I guess we'll see if any of their diets change along the way. Oh, and there's a new little baby over here too. Now, this duck has a mixed diet, so maybe that means it did actually eat some of the honey over here. And somebody else is having trouble too. Who can't find food? Oh no, our poor little sheep. Is that because we don't have enough berry bushes over here? I do only see one berry bush. Maybe we should place down a couple more just to ensure that our sheep are going to be okay. There you go, little ones. We have a brand new berry bush growing for you, so hopefully that'll take off soon. I don't really want to risk putting any grass tufts in this land, because if they take over these biomes so quickly. It actually helps to have biomes that aren't mixed at all, because sometimes we need that to unlock more plants. And I think that's actually going to be the case over here by the forest, where we need to come up with a way to unlock the potato plant next. It turns out that these guinea pigs are also very, very partial to the lovely potato plant, but they need help from the wild boar in order to dig them up. So if we can unlock the potatoes in this episode, hopefully we can have our very first potato party too. Oh, and it looks like I must have not accepted this one yet. This was for having a full hive of honey, and it actually unlocks us a brand new honey harvester task too. That's right, I vaguely remember that there was an option for us to harvest the honey from the hive, so I guess we're going to have to do that next. But yeah, this potato party task sounds pretty darn cute. The guinea pigs just have to eat 30 potatoes, but they need help from the wild boar, of course. So let's just check and see what the honey harvester task was. Oh, it's a renewable task. Time to harvest all of that delicious honey that the bees have been making. If you have bears in the world, they can do this for you. Otherwise, you'll have to harvest the honey manually in the hive's action tab. Oh my gosh, we could put the bears to work. Okay, then we are seriously going to have to get our hands on some of those bears. What do we need to unlock the bears in the world? They were way down here. Oh, but it's only 1 star? It's unlocked with the Lush task. Ooh, and we only have to do the butterfly task to unlock that one? Interesting. I think that actually involved getting the toads next, or the frogs rather, and we need to evolve those from the lizards. So there's still a little bit of work to do, but I'm looking forward to putting the bears to work in our land. Our little worker bears collecting honey for us. Well, since it seems like they have a full hive full of honey now, let's go ahead and complete that task too. 1 hive full of honey in our back pocket, I guess. I wonder if that means that the ducks won't be able to eat the honey though. Now that we've harvested it, that should mean that there's nothing really there for them to eat. And as far as I know, we don't have an inventory in this game, so we wouldn't be able to just offer it up to our ducks. I don't know, I guess we'll have to keep a closer eye on them. I'm not sure how all of that honey business is going to work. Maybe the bears will be able to sell it to our ducks once we get them in the world too. A full honey industry in the Mew Meadows. But I did evolve a brand new plant already. This is actually our sage plant. I decided to get started on that since we needed it to unlock the potato plant, and I evolved that straight from the rosemary. So if we go into our species tab, and we quickly find the sage plant, I do want to read about this first just to make sure it's in the right area. So the sage is a leafy herb. This plant can grow in either grassy or forest areas and can provide food for smaller animals. So it sounds like it's going to help keep this forest nice and fertile, and hopefully powerful enough for our next task. It turns out the potato plants are a little bit harder to unlock than I first figured. So as we plop the sage down right here, we'll go into the evolution tree. We need to unlock the acer tree first. I don't think we... Oh, have access to that? Oh no, maybe that wasn't a good location for that poor little plant. I guess we'll have to pull out another one. Let's see, the sage plant. Yeah, we actually don't have its like species around here. That's probably what's causing this mess. So what does the sage plant like? It likes stones and it likes grasses. Okay, so the sage actually wants to be near some sort of grass tuft. Oh, and here I was just talking about how we want to keep these biomes separate. That's going to be a little bit tricky. Because the other problem is, once we go to unlock the potato plant, we also have to have a biome that is mostly forest. Yeah, 80% forest biome, which is certainly nothing to scoff at. I don't think we have any grass tufts that would count for the forest biome either. I think it's just the normal grass tufts for that. So this might take a little bit of finagling, but let's just try to get our sage plant growing for now. We'll go ahead and plop it down up here this time. Are those stones maybe not big enough? Okay, it looks like it likes this area, so we'll place a couple of the sage plants over on the corner here, and hopefully they'll find a way to spread. Ooh, a tomato plant has been born with a mutation now? Did they receive the blessings of the magic forest too? It must be so small that we can't actually see the tomatoes on it yet. So which one of these are a growing tomato plant? Maybe this one right here? That one looks nice and young too. Ooh, a dark purple. Oh my goodness. That is going to make for some interesting lunch. Well, it's still purple, so I would be willing to bet that it's still a little bit of an influence from the magic forest. In fact, it looks a little bit more similar to our birch trees than the cotton candy trees over by the sage. So the magic has wormed its way into the woodland now. It is a tiny place, but I'm sure that our deer are going to guard it very, very well. Oh my gosh, was your name Maggie Moo? Maggie Moo the deer. Well, she looks like she's having a pretty good time. We're already up to generation 3 on our deer too. And it seems like our berry bushes are coming along quite well because our sheep are no longer hungry. The guardians live on. Alright, so next we have to figure out how we're going to unlock this acer tree. Let's see if we can find it inside this menu right here, because I'm not sure which one it evolves from. It looks like it's from the cedar tree, and we need to change it to a dark orange color, have that sage nearby, and the wild boar too. That might be a little bit tricky. Well, since we have all of our cedar trees by the wild boar anyways, I guess that's one thing working in our favor. Let's just see how much this is going to cost, because this might end up being make or break here. We do have about 500,000 points though, so as long as it's not too much. Yeah, 36,000. We could go ahead and buy that straight away, and hopefully that'll spread plenty of little orange trees for us, so we can use those in our experiments. And is the sage still alive? I guess that should probably be question number 1. Well, there's one sage plant here, but it looks like the health is pretty bad. Yeah, the environment is really, really not good. We're going to have to try to figure out how to make it happier, I guess. It's probably just because of those grass tufts. It's pretty far away, so they must not be too happy. I don't know, maybe we should just try spreading some sage around here, just so we actually have it in the world, and then we can work on finding other suitable places for it too. Okay, this is looking a little bit better now. The environment is at 70% here, so even though there's no grass tufts, I think it should still be able to survive. Basically, all I did was place a ton of stones all around this place, in each and every last little corner of the valley. So one of these is sure to survive, and with any luck, maybe it'll be right around wherever our orange saplings pop up too. It's going to be pretty hard to find them right now though when it's so dark like this, so maybe we should turn our attention somewhere else for now. Actually, how's our jungle doing back here? It's so secluded that sometimes I end up forgetting about it, but it looks like our butterflies are still out here. We still have plenty of sparrows flying around. We need to work at expanding this place too. It's pretty tiny for a jungle, so it doesn't look as vast and mysterious as I would expect. I haven't really taken a closer look at the evolution tree of these trees either. Let's see what else we can evolve them into. Oh, the witchwood tree? Oh my goodness, we could actually do this right now? Are there like little glowing fruits on those? Oh, those look gorgeous. Well, I know it's pretty expensive, but I'm sure we're going to need these eventually. So since we can actually evolve the witchwood tree, let's go ahead and start that right now. I'm sure that our ficus tree is going to survive long enough to get that done for us. It seems like they live for a really, really long time. Even though the trees are a bit scarce over here, there's still plenty of time left on their lifespans. So now that the sun is beginning to rise, are there any little saplings out here? Any little cedar tree saplings? I'm not seeing very many. Our sage is kind of struggling along. Yeah, maybe that's not going to work. Maybe we just need to spread out the forest a bit more. So if I remember correctly, the heather really enjoyed being in lower altitudes, while the rosemary preferred the higher ones. So maybe we could spread some rosemary up on this hill right here. That way the valley between will still be covered in forest. The rosemary needs something else though. What was their preferred species? The trees, of course. But those can't take root in barren land. Well, I guess the least we could do is spread a little bit more heather. Just down in the nooks and crannies, I guess. Oh, is there actually a little rosemary plant way out here? Yeah, I'm not surprised to see that you're struggling along. You are one brave rosemary plant. And I just saw a notification that our witchwood tree is ready. Yes, there it is. So no tiny little blue fruits on it yet. It's still far too young, but that gives us plenty of time to read about it too. So our witchwood tree is probably pretty far down on this list. Yeah, it looks like it might be a tier 3 tree, so this thing is probably pretty complicated to keep. This tall viney tree grows in very specific jungle areas and is slower growing than most normal trees. When fully grown, this tree produces a bright blue fruit which can be fed to diseased animals to heal them. Oh my gosh, no way! It's like the healing fruits in Niche. So we'll have to find a good creature to guard them too. It's said that it only grows in very specific places, and it looks like that's because it likes jungle flowers and frogs. So that might be a little bit of a problem. We don't actually have access to the frogs right now, so we'll just have to place it by our jungle flowers and hope for the best. I wonder what it says right now. Maybe if we place it down here, since there are so many flowers around. Yeah, it is definitely struggling. I'm not sure that we're going to be able to keep it in a healthy way until we have access to those frogs after all. But at least we have it now, and at least we know that it is pretty special. Adam would be pleased if he could see this world too. Oh no, our poor are starving again. They're probably looking for those potatoes. They've heard promises about a potato party from our guinea pigs after all, so they don't want to fill up on apples until the potatoes arrive. Well, hopefully it's not going to be too much longer. Oh, is that finally one of the trees? Yes, it looks like this is a cedar tree, and it definitely has that dark orange color, so let's make sure that we selective breed this one right away. So that's one thing checked off the list, and with all the wild boar nearby, it's definitely happy with that too. But that sage is going to be a problem. We need to keep the sage alive long enough to evolve the tree, but I'm sure that it's not going to last here. I guess for now what we could do is place down just one bunch of grass tops. And I know that's going to spread around here like crazy, but we'll go ahead and remove it after the sage is done evolving. Then do we have enough stones around here? Maybe 1 or 2 more couldn't hurt. And now let's see if the sage plant is finally going to be happy. Yes, 100% environment. Somewhere around here anyways. So let's just place a couple of them here, and then we should be able to start evolving this tree now, right? Good, there you go. Evolve the Acer tree for us. And since this is a brand new little sapling, we know that it's definitely going to have enough time. Actually, this tree looks like it doesn't have that much time to wait at all. And with its colors, it would even go perfect up here in our fall forest, which is severely lacking in life right now. I think it might be nice for us to spend a little bit of extra time on this part of the world too. This is actually leading toward the snowy peaks, So once we start experimenting with those biomes, I'm sure this place will have just as much life as the woodlands. Maybe we should think about adding some insects into this forest too. We have the sparrows flying through the skies, so I'm sure they would appreciate some little butterflies on the ground as well. It looks like it's not their favorite biome, but the environment is still pretty high, so I'm sure they're going to be happy here too. Not down here though, oh my gosh. And a strange poppy has been born as well? Ooh, what strange color of poppy are we seeing out here? It must be this one right at the edge. Oh no, is it going to live long enough? Oh, and it's actually a different color too. That looks like it's going to be a green poppy. Oh no, but it's just melting away. I don't think it's going to live long enough for us to see it. It needs stones over here. Maybe that's why it's going down so fast. It's not like there's very much room for stones over on the edge of the world. Yes, much better. Excellent. So the woodland is actually developing a brand new color. Oh, and that reminds me, we have to see what our tomatoes look like. Oh my gosh. Does that not look like some pure dark essence? Has our woodland been tainted? Little dear, I didn't know that you were harboring some dark powers over in the woodlands. If only we had the ability to change their colors, we could give them a more fitting appearance. But I'm sure we could change the colors of the trees in the woodlands, make them appear a little bit more dark as well. And we'll have to make sure... Oh no, I was just going to click on it. Oh no, I hope a few of those tomato plants lived on. Oh, thank goodness, it looks like this one has the purple color too. So go ahead and selective breed that. No more normal, boring red tomatoes. We're gonna breed tomatoes of darkness now. Maybe that's why we have these green poppies popping up all over the place. We'll have to make sure that we selective breed this one too. Gotta keep the interesting colors after all. Alright, so is our Acer tree ready by now? Let's see if we can place that down. Yes, there's our brand new little tree. It actually looks quite a bit like the apple tree, doesn't it? It kind of has the same shape to it, so maybe this will be a good place for it after all. Well, as always, let's go ahead and read about it first, because we don't want this thing to die off. This stunningly colorful tree stands out beautifully in the fields, a nice addition to any area. Prefers not to live near the tall tree species. Really? Really? You're going to be that picky? Oh my goodness, we have so many tall trees around here. That's kind of what's spreading our forest biome. Well, that's interesting. I guess this would still help us spread the forest biome too. It looks like it's suited to the forest, the grasslands, the woodlands, and it likes some pretty low altitudes. But it is not going to be happy over here, that's for sure. I mean, I guess we could place it way over on this side of the world. And you know, that's actually pretty close to our sage plants as well. Maybe that would work out for us? Hopefully it's going to survive there. It's not exactly fertile ground, but we'll see how it does. Yeah, the environment isn't that bad. It could probably be a little bit better, but it's certainly a step in the right direction, so we'll take it. So as of right now, the forest is about 70%. It's actually pretty close then. This little sage plant might be able to give us our first potato plant pretty soon. Maybe just a couple more little bits of heather will do the trick. We'll spread that around right here in all of those gaps. Kind of connect these two places. And then we'll see if our tree is enough to finish the job. Oh, it's starting to grow too. Yeah, I'll bet as this thing starts to get a little bit bigger, it'll help strengthen the forest around it. And I think I saw just a moment ago that our honey harvester task is complete. Now wait a second. Were the ducks actually harvesting the honey for us too? It said that the bears could, but we definitely don't have any bears in these woods. And I'm going to assume that none of them were sneaking in from the void to steal our honey. Interesting. Maybe the ducks were helping us after all. The very first leg of the honey industry in the Mew Meadows. But I'm sorry to say soon they're going to have competition. And I'm sure that the bears are going to be very hard to beat. Ooh, it looks like a little sage plant may have popped up right next to our tree. Is it that going to be healthy enough? Oh, it is so close. 74%. So what else can we do to make this ground a little bit more fertile? I mean, it's 90% over here. Wait a second. If this is sage too, maybe that would work? Yes. All right, so start that potato plant. We're getting close, guys. The potato party is nearly upon us. I wonder if there are any other types of guests that we can invite. We have our new butterflies flying through the skies. We have the boars, we have the guinea pigs. We have a couple of sheep up here on the hills, but I have a feeling they're probably going to be a little bit too far away. I'm not sure if they would even like to munch on the potatoes. They have plenty of apples over here, and they seem to be just fine with those. Now while we're waiting, though it doesn't seem like we have very long to wait at all. Oh my goodness, just in time. So our potato plant is ready, but I wanted to check on that special tree. I was just curious if maybe it was still alive. And it definitely appears to be. It's still struggling along, but look at this, those fruits are on the ground now too. So this is called the witchwood fruit? I wonder if maybe we could actually pick this up. Yeah, if like one of our animals got sick on a different part of the world, maybe we could grab one of those healing fruits and bring it straight over to them. The tree itself might be picky, but I'm sure the fruits are okay to move until they're eaten. I wonder if any of our animals have ever gotten sick before. I would assume we would probably get a little notification on the top of the screen, just like when our animals are getting hungry. We'll have to keep an eye out for that though. I have noticed that some of our animals are getting a little bit low in the disease resist area. Some of the plants too. In fact, I think our tomatoes of darkness were some of them. Oh no, that was edibility, okay. Well, that's not very shocking either. Would you really want to bite into, oh my goodness, a tomato that looks like this? We must have gone straight off into the void when it reset the camera. Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good spot for our dark forest to live. But now the potatoes. Are they actually already growing? It looks like we have some little blooms on top, so we better read about these quickly. Otherwise we're going to miss our chance to move them. So the potato plant is a leafy plant with lots of starchy potatoes underneath. Most animals will just eat the leaves of this plant, but some have the ability to dig up the entire potato plant and uncover all the starchy goodness that lies below. And that, of course, would be our wild boar. So the habitat is the grassland, the forest, and the woodland. And it doesn't seem like it needs any special requirements to keep it healthy. So let's just go ahead and grab this thing and throw it straight in the middle of all of our guinea pigs. And I'm sure that it's going to be just fine. So are any of our wild boar going to get curious? It looks like the guinea pigs certainly are. They are ready for a taste, but the wild boar are still a bit confused. I wonder if we could actually take control of one of the boar. I know there was a way to move them around. Maybe Billy the wild boar could be the chosen one. Yeah, let's take control of him, and we'll move over to the potato plant. And now, is there any way for us to dig it up? It doesn't look like it. We could make some noise with the E key, but that's about all that we can actually do. So I guess we have to wait and let this occur naturally. Ooh. Ooh, there we go. That boar definitely dug something up. Are these all the potatoes? Yeah, these tiny little brown blobs must be the potatoes that they dug up. Yeah, looks like there was an explosion out here. Oh my gosh, our guinea pigs are going to be so happy. As soon as they get a little bit hungry again, I'm sure they are going to devour these. Oh, is our boar actually going to have a taste? Yes, excellent. So they can definitely eat it too? Well, of course, if they're going to use up all of that energy digging up these things, of course they're going to have a little taste. Oh my gosh, you guys are never going to go hungry again. Though we might want to make sure that our potato plants are growing quickly, because those big dirt explosions definitely destroy the whole thing. There we go, there's the first bite. Oh my gosh, some of these potatoes are bigger than the baby guinea pigs. They're practically the same size as their parents too. I wonder if the little baby's getting curious. Are you looking for a little potato of your own? Pandora the guinea pig. Oh, what a perfect name. Born right in the middle of our very first potato party. Well, I'd say that it's a pretty good success so far. And it looks like our tree is really coming along too. It has a nice sturdy trunk and some sweet little saplings. But it looks like they might be having a standoff with the tall trees soon. It's going to be the chicken army all over again. We are going to have to make like an actual barrier between these two plants, or else they're going to end up competing all day long. Well, now that that's done, maybe it would be a good idea for us to focus on the rabbits next. I think in order to get to the frogs, the rabbits are going to be the next thing on the list. So that means we have to come up with a way to unlock the carrots next. I wonder if the rabbits would even enjoy frolicking through our dark forest. It looks so sweet and unimposing in the daytime, but it is carrying one deep, dark secret. So for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!